What up, Nikki? Hey, man, thanks. I really appreciate you getting all that art out for me quickly for Save to Kill and stuff, and really appreciate it. Hoping that everything really goes well over there with the once the badges are released and I can get some good views. So keep everything rolling here. But anyway, here is the new game. So you ready for a long haul, man? We get to start a whole new game over. I'm really, really excited for this one, man. It's gonna be so cool. I've got so many ideas in my head here, and as you can probably see with the big list on the left here, this game is going to be the behind the scenes of this game is going to be way more complex than the original Humanoid Space Race. It's not going to be a short high score chaser. It's actually going to have a very similar format or completion based format to Save to Kill. There's going to be a bunch of levels. And you're going to be able to upgrade your character's abilities and evolve them similar. And I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of other things. Now as you and me both are getting better at art and development, and I'm trying to not only develop a good game that people want to play, but I'm also trying to figure out ways to keep the views coming to compete with the idle type games that just dominate Kongregate, because those games just lend themselves to clicks and views. So I'm trying to figure out ways to keep people coming back. So this game's going to have, and there's no reason for you to think about any of this. I'm just kind of going over all like my ideas for this in the grand arc of this game. I'm going to have a whole bunch of levels, and that's the reason why I wanted to switch to a more simple art style so we can increase the workflow dramatically as far as the art goes. We're shrinking everything down. I actually ended up growing the hero 20% because he was a little bit small, but you don't really have to worry too much about that. Let's keep going with that same pixel size, the 32 by 32, and then we can, the enemies are going to vary slightly, but growing these sprites 20% or growing them a little bit or shrinking them through stencil really isn't going to affect the way they look. But switching to this kind of an art style and speeding up the workflow of the art is really going to just enable. The biggest thing is going to enable the amount of levels that we can have and the amount of enemy variety. So this game's going to have a whole bunch of levels. I'm hoping to do right off of the bat, 30 levels. I'm shooting for. Or maybe 20, let's say 25. Let's say 25 to start. 5 different worlds with 5 levels in each, and a unique boss at the end of each one. So that's 30 bosses. Although the bosses are going to be, we're going to do some palette swaps. We're probably going to do like 2 different bosses on each, so there'll be a boss on the first level of the world, and then the second boss will be a unique boss, and the third one will probably be like a reskin of the first boss, and then the third boss will be a reskin of the second boss or whatever, and then the final boss in each world will be unique. So we'll do a little bit of reskinning and color swapping and stuff like that. But since we're changing to this art style, I really feel like we'll be able to just get this enemy variety in here. So in the end, we're I don't want to say we're lowering the quality of the art, because I absolutely love this style, but we're allowing ourselves to speed up the workflow to create diversity and colors. I really want this game to be vibrant, and that's how we're going to stimulate the player. With we're just gonna charm these people to death. We're gonna have really cute looking characters, and it's just gonna have really rock solid gameplay with the stomping and the weapons and the explosions, and stuff's gonna be blowing up everywhere, and screen shake and colors and variety. Save to Kill, we ended up having a really large number of enemies, but people did give me the old, well, we've got some color swaps in there, and it's like, yeah, man, so it's like you can have the most detailed sprites in the world, but if you end up repeating them and if they're staring at the same sprites over and over again, it's going to become repetitive. So anyway, just to show you, I am absolutely in love with the humanoid. I think his new look is amazing. I think he is just so cool. I absolutely love it. You really nailed it, man. So, once we get this, now that we've got this kind of style down, we can just use this as a template as far as all the enemies and I've got a whole bunch of tricks up my sleeve that I don't want to overwhelm you with. But as you can see on the side here, we have a whole bunch of different attributes. So this game is going to have, I don't want to say different weapons, but I don't even really want to get into it yet. But as you can see, we're simplifying the look of this game, but the under the hood is going to be much more complex, and it's all pretty much stuff for me to worry about. This is going to be my first time to develop. I'm going to be developing. There's going to be critical chance, critical damage, different weapons and such, and I'll go over all of this stuff for you in a very detailed, easy way for you to understand. And we're also going to be doing some status effect. There's going to be an on fire or flame effect. Enemies are going to be able to lit on fire. Enemies are going to be able to be frozen or slowed. And when they're in the frozen state, they're going to be able to be instantly shattered with a stomp attack. And then I'm also going to want to do zap or electric damage, elemental. So I want to do 3 different elemental damages. And like I said, things might change during the development phase. I might be like, oh man, I bit off way too much than I can chew, and we'll have to simplify things. But as of right now, I really want to go for this because I really want to start to, get better as a developer and start to do these different types of things, and I really want to offer players and challenge myself and you're obviously being challenged as well, as far as this style I know is a little out of your wheelhouse, and you really nailed it, man, after a couple little shots here. I mean, this guy is just so cool. I love this guy. Like I always look at him in my phone. I always bring up the GIF file that you sent me, and this thing, he's just so cool. So anyway, and also I had said something about the bullet being cut off or cropped off. I just don't, once I put it in the game, it's absolutely fine. It just looked it was hard for me to see on my phone when I was checking it out. As you can see, I've got the bullet in. So you can see too, we've got a whole bunch of different ways that this game is going to be controlled. I'm starting off the default movement. Everybody seems with shooters on Congregate was yelling at me and hollering about mouse control, mouse control, mouse control. So now in this game, the difference in this game is he follows the mouse, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of different control schemes, and if I can learn how to do it, I actually might be doing completely configurable controls. It's something that I really want to start offering my players, but it's very difficult to program. I got to wrap my head around it and figure it out. But as of right now, I'm going to start with the mouse. So he follows the mouse left and right, but you can see he's got his blast. That's, that was in the normal one, his space race, and that's actually, as of right now, that's W. So you're using WSAD and mouse control. So you can blast up, and then stomp down is S, so he stomps down. I actually was going to do an actor here and put like some flames around his feet, like but we'll just do the regular sound effect. I don't want to get too busy with doodads and stuff. So we've got our standard control, and it handles great. This control scheme really works well, and there'll be a similar control scheme that the regular game had. But now where things get really cool is, since I've got the mouse here, I'm like, okay, well, let's get a little more intricate with the firing. The first game had automatic fire, and I caught a lot of heat for that. Everybody complained about it. Oh, I want control over the character, blah, blah, blah. So, as I start developing and evolving as a game developer, I want to start adding these things in, not taking the easy road out and just have bullets created for the player. So you hold the mouse button in. Oh, and also before I get into that, the other really big thing is the blast up button. If you hold it, he now hovers. So, and we'll put some sound effects, and you can see that the actor I have, this is going to be the actors that you're going to be working on next. And that's going to be a really good game mechanic for players to like dodge lasers, and it's just going to give players really good control over this guy. You can see he can really go all over the map, and he can dodge this way, he can blast up some more, he can stomp down, and then he can shoot. And the other thing with shooting is you hold the mouse button in. And now, I don't know if you've seen the big bullets get created. The other thing that I've done is I'm going to create this meter, this build-up meter. When you release the button, it builds the meter up. And when the meter gets full, when you click it, he fires out a big shot. And those will deal instant critical damage, and those will be evolved as well, same like Save to Kill. So when this guy's guns are level 25, when he does this, he'll probably fire out like 4 of those right in a row, and they'll be guaranteed instant critical shots. And the other big thing is double click is fire grenade. So, really, the controls are much more advanced in this game. There's a lot going on, but it really gives I'm a little nervous because there is a lot going on here. There's double clicking, regular clicking, there's holding the button to hover. But once you get used to it, it'll just be my challenge and I'll probably do like the first world, like the first 5 levels as almost like pretty simple but fast, real quick and easy tutorials, and I'll try to get the player to really learn the game mechanics. But once you get used to it, you really do have a lot of control. So, and I really like this build up meter shot. I think it really adds a lot to the gameplay, giving the player the option to not always just, there's no if you don't give the player a reason to let go of the button, then you might as well have auto fire just like I did in the regular game. So it's kind of an idea that I came up with. It's nothing new into gaming. A lot of games have done it. So, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be really, really cool. It's going to really, add a lot of spice to the gameplay, and it's just going to be awesome. So anyway, getting onto the art, I don't want this video to go on too long, but yeah, the bullet looks great. I'm still tweaking it. I'm getting his like first level ups and everything going, and getting his bullets and everything created the right way and having his first evolutions. But for as far as the art goes, for what we'll need now, I'm thinking of what you can see right here is this blast up. So this is basically just going to be a big fiery blast that I want created out of his jetpack. And you see I have it follow him around. And then the hover, as you can see. So the hover and let's do the blast first. The blast will be more like fire. And I have this angled straight down. I think that we should angle it a little bit diagonal to the, you see where my mouse is, like over and down to the left, kind of, because typically people are going to be blasting this way, and even if they're going that way, it'll follow the player. So I just want this to, and I want this to be pretty big. I want this to be pretty big on the screen, going with this style of art, real comic-y, and just have it like a flame blast coming out of there. And that's going to be the biggest challenge for you, I think, is like really trying to hold yourself back, is because I know you love to make really detailed sprites, which are amazing, but this simplistic style, just go for it. We just want like a really cool like little blast that you think would look good coming out of the back of this guy's jetpack. And then the hover is going to be made, I think, almost like a white version of that. And I really want this hover to be like really random. I want it to look like smoke or steam is coming out of the jetpack, like kind of like randomly. Like just picture like the sound effects here is just going to be like so like the hover can be like this white kind of smoke steam, almost like circles coming out. I want them to look like it's almost coming out like randomly, like really like like a whole bunch of like smoke coming out of there. And then the third piece of art on this work order can be when the guy fires. Right now I want to do like a blast, like an initial blast that comes out of his gun. And this could essentially just be like, I'm thinking I don't know if I want to go fiery, like orange red blast, or maybe if I just want to go like white, like a white energy blast. And this could be, originally I was just going to do a drawing event and draw a circle, white circle. So like it can be pretty basic, but I figured like a blast, picture like almost like like when a comic book character says something and like there's like those jagged bubbles or something like that. Just like a big just blast coming out of his gun. And then the bullets, are obviously, see how the bullets are created a little bit further to the right on the x-axis. So if I had a white blast or even an orange or red blast coming out of the gun, it would give the, it'll sell the idea that the gun is very powerful and blasting off, And so that would be it. So the 3 pieces of art, sorry that the video ran out long, but, it is a new game. I wanted to kind of go over things with you and show you the game a little bit and what we're doing and how it's going. And also if you wanted to work on a grenade too, I was originally going to use this grenade that you give me for the last save to kill order, but I don't know if it just fits the style anymore. So if you wanted to work on a grenade as well, that kind of looks like this bullet, fits this style. You can see I'm going to turn it. I already am turning it. Whatever you think would work for a grenade. And so the work order would be 4 things. The blast up, the hover, which is a white sprite. The blast up is going to be a fire reddish orange blast. And then this will be like a white smoke thing to make him look like he's hovering. And I have this being created every 0.2 seconds, so it'll naturally give itself a little bit of undulation. And then the third one would be the blast coming out of the gun, which I'm leaning more towards it being white-ish, but I'm up for interpretation. If you think orange would look a little bit better or red, we can go with that, or maybe both, and I can pick. And then grenade, whatever you think would look good for like a grenade to fit this style. I'm thinking more circular. I like the size of the grenade that I'm currently shooting out because I'm going to grow it as it evolves, so I don't want it to be too much bigger than the current one that you see on the screen. And that's it, man. So let me know what you think.